Hey, what's up guys, and today I'm going to be giving you the final episode. Yes guys, the final episode of What If Naruto Got His Memories sealed away. I just want to thank you all for following me on this long journey. It's been quite a journey guys, and I just want to thank you all for following me on it. But you know guys, don't be sad because as usual, new What Ifs are coming up soon for you guys to enjoy. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy yourself guys. And also go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto was taken and fused with Zetsu, and enjoy that guys. And also over on Anime King I post a new episode of What If Naruto was the same age as Itachi. So go over there and enjoy that as well guys. And I just want to thank you all again. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be planning talking about to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say begin this last episode? Begin the intro. So, the last time we left off, Obito was going on about his nonsense that just pissed Naruto off, telling Naruto that he had no control over his own life. About all of his growing up, everything was not by his chance, but he was forced into all of this. It just pissed Naruto off to no end. As the both of them started to clash against one another, the battle was brutal as they made their way into the forest, as they started to clash even more hectic than before, as they destroy a huge chunk of the forest. But Obito was not getting captured Naruto jutsus, so Naruto did something unexpected. He released all 5 natures at once as seal that erupted in a flash. He was lucky that he was thrown away at the last moment because the thing erupted, tearing up large chunk of the forest away like it was nothing. As Obito didn't get away unscathed though, but relatively he wasn't that badly damaged. As Naruto re-emerged, Naruto fused with his blade, as it came on his body like an armor. As he was able to cut Obito now, he destroyed half his mass. He started to beat Obito down to a pulp, showing him that he's in control of his own destiny, that he's the one that controls his fate. As their battle lingered on, as Obito absorbed one of Naruto's clones, because Naruto used his clone to push him out of the way. But then, Obito started to feel pain, unbridled pain, as he started to cough up blood. He dropped to his knees, coughing up a lot of blood. He didn't understand what was going on. As his falter made Naruto damage his body, he was shocked once again. He made the attack go through him. So what the hell was going on? As he quickly had to retreat towards a separate dimension. Upon getting there, he was sitting down, but he shouldn't take his eyes off his surroundings, because Naruto appeared in there and smashed the thing on the back of his head. The last thing he thought, he apologized to Ren for failing, as his head was torn apart, as a clone that was in there finally completed his mission and killed him. The clone was the one inside, destroying his body whenever Naruto attacked from the outside. As Naruto looked up to see Konan in mid-air after getting back the intel from the clone, as he was happy because there was no surprise, no Obito coming back, and showing that he was not dead. He finally got rid of the fake Madara, as he saw Konan up in the air watching him, as he tell Nagato that he's coming for him next. As Naruto passed out, after a while he was retrieved by Konoha ninjas and brought back, as he saw Maki when he woke up. As Himako came in there, Himako quickly started to kiss him as she was happy that he was okay, as she was taking things a bit far. As Naruto noticed that Maki was still in there, Maki was blushing very red, but Himako said that she didn't care. Maki could join if she want. But Naruto was poofed away as he saw Jiraiya, and the Toad was there that had the key. He gave Naruto the key, but Naruto didn't want to pull the fox yet because Kurama and him had a conversation. Yes, and Kurama told him his name. Kurama wanted to see this through till the end. They didn't have to have their battle yet. He wanted to see him finish this. Besides, he was on this ride with him when it just started. So why give out now? As Naruto told them that, yes, he will stick through this with Kurama. So yeah guys, so it's basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across to the Blizzard and check it out for yourself. So, what is to begin this new episode? Naruto reappeared back at his house after his meeting with Jiraiya and the Toads, but this time there was no Maki or Himako, so there will be no chance of continuing where he left off. Damn it, he said. Time skip, hidden rain, Pain's tower. Konan long since reported to Pain what happened. She was currently standing on a ledge with Deva Path, looking over the village, as he knew that their benefactor, Madara Uchiha, was dead. So they were finally free from all of the vision that Madara tried to place in the Akatsuki. They were the last members standing, just two of them, the way it has always meant to be. Only Zetsu was left aside from two of them, but that was the problem at the moment. But the hidden grass was about to fall in time now by Konoha, and once the hidden grass fall, the road straight towards the hidden rain was wide open. But the war had already touched their lands. The damn Tishikage figured he could take the hidden rain while they were fighting their battle. As they could see the dawning camps in the enemy out in the distance, they were taunting, and the village was currently on lockdown. But it didn't matter because Nagato would not allow them to get past the lake. Unless Tishikage himself come down to fight this battle, there wasn't anything that they have that could stop him from bringing down the wrath of God upon them. They thought they were a safe distance away, where they can just watch it in the rain without getting attacked, but they were wrong. The animal path is already near to the battle site, almost in position. The Deva Path said to Konan, despite the fact that Nagato was in the next room beside her. She knew why he did it. She loved Yaiko, and he felt like speaking through Yaiko's body gave her some comfort. Would you like me to accompany your paths and join the battle? Konan asked. No, Konan, I can destroy entire hidden village full of ninja on my own. I can, assuredly, annihilate the camp. I want you to remain here with me while I use my chakra to fight. I want you to inform every citizen to get somewhere where they can see the enemy camp. In case anyone has forgotten how my power is complete, I want them to see it. I want them to witness the fate of a god, he said. As Konan nodded, the Deva Path then poofed away as he was summoned by the summoning path. A few minutes earlier with the enemy camp, when the world fell into war, Unki felt like he didn't need to take any measure in this because he wasn't a part of it. But now, the spoils of war would be his, as the camp was wide and large. So when the people saw one ninja coming to them, the Senju ninjas felt only one person. They were surprised. This is it. This the guy is the Stone Ninja said. The one who called himself God. I heard he destroyed the San Juan Jutsu to start a war. No way, there had to be a trick to it. Someone that strong cannot exist. People don't get that strong. Those are just stories. As the figure got closer, they saw his features. An old man with the X on his chin. And they saw his dark, shaggy hair. Is that Danzo Shimura? It can't be. He disappeared months ago. It was Danzo, or it used to be. No, it was just Nagato, Animal Path. You in the villages claim that you cherish peace, said the Animal Path. But every stretch of peace that has ever been brokered in the elemental nations has been nothing but a mask. A mask for villages like you to secretly build their strength, come up with new ways to fight, and make others suffer. All in anticipation of the next excuse. The next lame excuse to start a war. Stepping outside the force, the one who was in charge of his command, as he had resemblance to Onki, as people mutter his name, Kitsuki. So you're the leader of the rain, Kitsuki said. Do you really think you can fight 1,000 shinobi single-handedly? No, said the Animal Path, as he slammed his hand on the ground, summoning jutsu. There was a poof as the large centipede started to flood into the camp as they crawled over the earth spikes and started to slaughter everyone in their path. A bird also flew up in the sky with the Animal Path on his back. This is going to be easy, the Animal Path said. From the sky it was clear to see the deaths that was already going on out there. I won't even have to use the largest, almighty push. The hidden stone has clustered up together. They wanted to form in a massive number so they could defend themselves against everything Nagato threw at them. But to confine themselves into one camp was the worst thing they can ever do. This is not going to be that easy, you bastard, Kitsuki said. Form up your squadrons. The centipedes are too quick to pursue. Wait for the approach and counter. Bring them close decently and I can kill them in one move. With its strongest solo technique, as the Stone Ninjas did their best. They had already lost about 200 in the open moments of the battle. Projectiles with explosive tags, they tried their best. But suddenly, a chameleon spring into sight in front of them, shocking most of them as he dropped its cloak. The chameleon quickly opened its mouth as the robot part was inside. As missiles were launched outside into the camp, Earth style, Earth wall! They slammed their hands on the ground to protect themselves. The slaughter wasn't that bad, but most of them got exploded though. Blood and body was sent flying everywhere. As they then heard something zipping past, as most of them were torn from the inside out by the azure path, ripping through them like they were nothing. On the bird, there was a Preda path, and the summoning path. So if anything, the summoning path can summon back their body. And to stop any projectile from being launched at it, the Preda path can block it. The summoning path then summoned 2 more paths, as they dropped to the ground. The human path and Tendo Pain. Despite the height they dropped from, they were fine. Tendo looked at Kitsuki, angry expression. You're angry. Someone like you who experienced war. That much is clear. As a son of the Tishikage, you probably decorated ninjas from the last war. But also being Tishikage's son, you probably never felt a true pain that war could actually bring. You should be thanking me. Thanking you? Did you just say I should be thanking you? Yes, said Human Path. After just experiencing a bit of my pain, you should understand me a bit better. Be grateful. Most regular people like you never come this close to understanding the will of God. Kitsuki gathered up his chakra into his arms as he smashed them into the ground. Earth style, great moving earth core. The earth cracked open as a human and Tendo Path was sent sailing downwards. Just hold on, Kitsuki thought. I'll even up the odds a bit soon enough. Taking the hidden rain was an order for Tishikage, and every Stone Ninja followed their order from Tishikage, even if it meant death. As Kitsuki turned the ground, the earth started to shift and come together to squash the both of them, but suddenly they poofed away. No, Kitsuki said. That was a summoning. Summoning humans. That was unfair. It was impossible. As he heard, the sounds of battle growing quieter and quieter. It sounded like nothing was going on anymore. It would be a shame to kill you so soon. Just after showing you a bit of my pain, said Tendo Pain. Grudge rain, said Tendo Pain, as the rain started to pour down to fill up the gap that Kitsuki was stuck in. By the time it reached his ankle, it would start to drain his chakra. That would give him plenty of pain to think about, from losing 1,000 souls in a matter of half hour. As that was going on, the entire village of Thin Rain was watching the obliteration of their enemy by their god. Days later, the battle had been over for a few days, but there were still pockets of white desert soldiers who hid themselves in the village. Things were still on red alert, with patrols going through the village. Civilians were kept out of certain parts of the village with a strict curfew, but things were way better than they were supposed to. Bodies were still being discovered, the funerals were being held off until the threat was completely taken care of. A lot of people had died, but this could have been much worse, compared to the amount that died when the Battle of Konoha invasion. That was more worse. I've seen a lot of people die before. Why am I so pissed this time, said Naruto as he strode to the village? Because when that happened, your brain was still scrambled from the unsealing. You were mentally shocked for a while, said Kurama. But have you noticed something, brat? Huh? The last few days while you were walking around, the ninjas who are acknowledging you. It's not just them, everyone. They know about the battle that you are doing. And they know that you killed the masked man. Your report, since you sent in day 1, is not sealed records. They are there for the public to see. As Naruto knew that his report was not sealed up, as he never really noticed that though what Kurama was talking about. But still, I was the only one that can do those things, said Naruto. I kick ass. And that is what I'm supposed to do. Yes, that is right. That is what you're supposed to do as a ninja of Konoha. But who else actually did it? You killed 4 of the 9 most dangerous terrorists in the world, and the guy that backed them from the start. You got 2 landmarks in the earth from battles, scars that you had. If anyone can be marked as the strongest ninja under the Hokage, who else would it be? Ero Sennin, said Naruto. If you still think he's stronger than you, now you're out of your mind. And he's probably stronger than the Hokage, so that means you're the strongest now. You know, if you're gonna have a conversation with the Kyuubi, you might want to keep it to yourself. If there were other people here, they would think that you were crazy. As Naruto looked over to see Tsunade sitting on a bench. What are you doing here, Bachan? As he walked over and sat down beside her. She's been extremely busy since the battle, so he's surprised to see her at all. This is supposed to be a danger zone. If any of those Platman are stupid enough to attack me just because I'm alone, and think that they can win, well, let them feel free to attack me. I want something to pound to vent some stress anyway. No stake or anything there to ask. I told myself I would never drink during a war. God, it sucked. Have I ever told that only he's a senile old jackass that never understand to not screw with the pooch? Really? I thought all the Kages were buddies, said Naruto that chuckle. No, I'm serious. I can probably see that he will see an opportunity to attack the Hinorin at this point, but the man completely went past everything without thinking. Do you know that in the Chunin exams at the stand that you went with me for, he was completely willing to act like he didn't know that you were in a fight with two members of the Akatsuki? I could handle it with Gaara's help, but that was then and this is now, said Naruto. He did that because if you got caught or killed, it would have made us weaker, said Tsunade. And even with this war going on, he was going to pick at the bones when he saw an opening. As much as I hate the guy, I think that Nagato did to himself was the right thing, than having his people fight it and draw it out. Tsunade put the armor on Naruto and hugged him. I don't even want to ask, but I have to. You're going to the Hinorin, aren't you? If I don't, what happened to the stone is going to happen to us when we move on them. Send me when the time comes, he said. I'm sending that entire group down there. I can send Jiraiya to command them, she said. God damn it, Naruto, you know how much of a showing you are to take over from me when I dropped this damn hat. I was about to groom you when this was all over. 5 to 10 years from now and that's it. No one else is even close to taking it. Era's sending is at a huge disadvantage with one arm. Even though he knows how Nagato's power works, he still won't be able to have the power necessary to defeat him. I'm the only one that can do it now. And Tsunade still want to choke him for going off to fight the masked man. But still, he was the only one that can do it. As besides her in the village right now, he was one of the strongest. Yes, he was probably the strongest right now. And he had more tricks than Kakashi and Jiraiya. And if Naruto was a Kage level ninja and a Hokage, it was his place to fight the strongest ninjas. And she was needed here because she was a Hokage. But still, she knew that they were after him. And it was just difficult. But still, he needs something to drive the point home that he was going to be the man. He did the impossible before, so there was no way that she was going to doubt him now. Get your rest, Brad, she said, as she gave him a kiss on the cheek before getting up and walking away. If you die after all of this, you will be disappointing more people than you know. If I die, I'm taking that bastard with me, said Naruto. I owe him that. Time skip. Sai looked down at his hand from the high five that Naruto just gave him. And what was that supposed to represent? It's supposed to represent that you did that kick-ass job, Sai, Naruto said as he noticed the wounds over Sai that was bandaged up. He still hadn't recovered fully from the battle that he had. You played an important role in the shadows and you're telling me you got him, the original. The white and black bipolar one. Are you sure that you killed him? Sai nodded as the both of them walked through the underground base of Root. I clashed with him. While we were battling Toby, he followed at a safe distance. When the battle was complete, he wanted to attack the retrieval team that took your body in the end. And that is where I clashed with him. But he wasn't a member for fighting. And every time I got close, he tried to run off but I stopped his escape. But at the last moment, as I killed the white one, the black one came a part of him. He would have gotten away if it was for Maki, distance, genjutsu attack. As Maki ensnared, Black Zetsu lunged them for a sight to kill him. And they burned the abominations to ashes. Eventually reaching Danzo's office, which is now Sai office, they entered. As Maki was inside, Naruto senpai, Sai senpai, good morning, she said, as she gave him a smile. So, is there anything in the works yet for the Hinorin attack? As Naruto shut the door and locked off the light, as Sai flipped on the projector, as he started to show the films of what they knew of the situation, layouts of the Hinorin, and how everything is set up. As they started to discuss plans, question said Maki, why are we going through this information ourselves and trying to process it ourselves? Shikaku Nara is the one that is creating the plans, and Naruto senpai will be placed in them without a doubt. So even if we made a plan here, there is no reason to believe that we can even use it. Not to be negative about anything, she was just being realistic. Why are we going over this ourselves, she asked. As Naruto did not have any problem with that question. In all actually, Maki have a point, because it seemed like they were wasting their time. Nothing they said really mattered right here because the Jonin commander was the man with the plan that was going to set things in stone. But Naruto knew why they were going over this. We're going over this ourselves because I think I'm going to be in charge of how we handle pain. I'm sorry, but I don't understand why that matters, senpai, she said. You still need to be in close proximity to the Hinorin to worry about how you're going to fight that man. It was going to be a battle just to get close, but he was already worrying about the end game. Okay, Maki-chan, have you ever heard of the term Halo Jump? I don't think so, should I have, she asked. Not really, but don't worry, because there's a reason for that. Because Sai and I invented it a few days ago. As Maki realized his tone, he started to talk like this when he had a stupid idea. A stupid, crazy, insane plan. Please, senpai, by all means. Go on, she said. As Sai was standing there, trying to hold back the smirk that was going to appear on his face. Well, in trying to understand people, he seemed to enjoy messing with Maki. Well, when it comes to her feelings, after all, she was being bred to marry Naruto by Danzo. So, when she talked about those situations, it became really uncomfortable for her. Sai found it rather funny, and he loved to put Naruto in, well, situations for him to say something stupid, so that Maki would just get, well, she would lose her shit. And he found all of that really funny. And just wait until she hears this plan. Yes, Sai was going to really enjoy this after all. He spent days. They went on a Taki mission. And also he had to fight Zetsu when he got wounded. Yes, he got wounded bad. And all he got was a high five from Naruto after that dangerous interaction. So yeah, let him explain to his potential wife how he was going to go through with this. Watching this conflict was a reward for a job well done, as a smirk came on his face. Time skip. The entire village of Hidden Rain was fortified, as they were ready for the attack of the enemy. The Hidden Stone had already tried, but all of them had been decimated before they even got close. As they were ready, time skip, many ninjas came back home after taking care of the smaller villages, as they mourned their loved ones' loss, the ones who died in the attack when the White Zetsu's attack. As Naruto was currently with Jiraiya, so the only person I told my plan to assassinate Pain is currently pissed off with me, as the two of them were sitting on the academy roof. First of all, Brat, I don't trust plans that come with their own acronyms. And also, you're the one that made the acronym to go with it. And also, say that your little plan don't make you crap out your spine, or that you don't get stopped after going near it. How are you gonna get out after you finish the job? In a goddamn box? No, I got a plan. Just trust me. Can you trust me? This is what I was made for. I used to do S-rank infiltration all the time, you know? Until you and I mess up the one in the Hidden Rain, then batch and retire me from it. Every fiber of my being is screaming for me to tell the Hokage, for me to tell Haim what you're about to do. But I'm 02 for anything having to do with Hidden Rain. So what do I know? Good, said Naruto. You're not gonna tell anyone else what you're gonna do, are you? Nope, said Naruto. As Jiraiya sighed, doing something what he was going to do was already stupid, but doing it alone was just beyond idiotic. Error sending, if I tell Shikaku what I'm about to do, he's gonna alter the plan some way to make sure I have some kind of out, said Naruto. And that's not gonna work. The more people involved in this, the more problem become. Think about it, 1,000 ninjas didn't even get in near the site of the Hidden Rain. Hundreds rude envoys just magically got in barely after Nagato and Jiraiya had distracted Pain in his path and Konan. Jiraiya and Naruto went in alone, and they were still found out. The reign of Nagato was radar. Yes, there was two ways to get, well, past the rain. The first one was under it, that is what the Stone Village wanted to do. But they were already in the rain when they got there. And the next reason was over it. Naruto would still be the main attack force. He just wouldn't really be him. You do know that Tsunade is gonna cut your head off and put on a stick, right? For what you're about to do. She will understand afterwards, no matter how it turns out. Every other Hokage died risking their neck to protect their village and their people. It was time for that little requirement to be fulfilled by him. Wait a second. Naruto thought about something. What is it? Bachan cannot find out about this plan. Why would she? You said you haven't told anyone else. Well, she has Sarutobi's crystal ball. As Jiraiya thought about it, I'm pretty sure she figured out how to use it after 4 years, even if it doesn't come in any instructions. That thing is magical. She threw it at my head a long time ago and didn't even scratch. Jiraiya chuckled and punched her in the shoulder and chuckled. Did I ever tell you about the time I stole that thing from Sensei? No, you stole it before? Why? Well, you remember that story about Tsunade almost beating me to death for peeping on her? Yeah, wait, no way you didn't, said Naruto. How do you think I do it, in person? No, I had the ball for 3 weeks. Then Orochimaru figured that he was a person with morals and decided to run his mouth. As Jiraiya was going to be going tomorrow, but he has prepared Naruto. And Naruto's already stronger than him. And if this was the last day he was going to see his godson, he was going to spend as much time with him as possible. And this was the best way. Well, he could think of other way, but Naruto wouldn't go with him to peep on the hot springs. Time skip. A few days later, getting past that sensory jutsu wouldn't be easy. It rained every single moment in the rain. They hadn't wandered far enough in the country to make themselves be known yet. Kakashi glanced over towards Naruto. The second they find which group Naruto is in, they would know that one's the real threat. Like he thought, Naruto was the only one that can defeat Pain. Everyone in Konoha knew it, and everyone in Hidden Rain knew it as well. No matter how they tried to disguise it, Naruto was the path to end it all. No matter who he was with, He was the key to end this all. Come on, really, said Naruto. How many division do we have, he asks, as he crossed his two fingers together. Yes, that was a good idea. Naruto clones. You couldn't tell them apart even with the sensory ability. I thought you said you were good at creating strategies on the fly, said Shikaku. Well, I'm no general, said Naruto. That's why you're still telling me where to go. But you know, I'm good at tricking people, said Naruto. A nod came from Shikaku. Let's start putting the finishing touch on the advanced strategy then. Meanwhile, with the real Naruto, 17,000 feet above the hidden rain. Yes, he was good at tricking people, for better or for worse. Pain couldn't be in control of all the rain that fell all the time. It was just the one that he controlled around the village. 3 miles of the hidden rain. That is where his technique came to life. Wearing modified version of the snorkel around their mouth from the hidden rain. Sai and Naruto sat on an ink bird for the sake of preserving the weapon for someone else in case something went horribly wrong. Well, who else would hold it? Well, still, it was a relic. And he couldn't afford anything to go bad here and destroy it or something like that. After all, he didn't know how he was going to get out of this even if he managed to win. The village was still filled with rain ninjas. The two of them wore thick clothing because up there was really cold. Modified version of their root clothing. Bachan's gonna murder me when she finds out I did this. This is the second worst idea I ever had. The messed up thing about this, if this worked, I'm trained a sort of envoy to do this when I become Hokage. Well, they will have to have winged jutsu, like you, to the highest degree, and also send jutsu to protect themselves. Well, I'm sure you can work around that. After all, you are the one known for the unexpected things. You have 15 minutes to get this done no matter what. I know that, Sai. I was there when you were getting this done. I'm not gonna forget a step. As he patted Sai on the shoulder as he walked around the bird, using chakra as he stick to the bottom of the bird. Cram, he said. Sage mode on, and just remember you're aiming for the big tower in the center. I guess I'm ready for the scariest 2 minutes of my life, Naruto said, as he let his Sharingan show. No matter what, senpai, fail, or pass this mission, you have to last 15 minutes. As Sai looked at the synchronized watch in his arm. Now, Cybird was shooted back because of the force that Naruto left off of it with. As he simply controlled it though, as he headed back to Konoha. As he turned, he saw Naruto descending from the sky. If all went as planned, this would work. As Naruto flew through the clouds, as he got wet, as the hidden rain became bigger and bigger, as he descended more, as he counted the seconds in his mind, as he was going to survive this no matter what, he was going to make it home, he will not fail. As he started to see the skyscrapers, as he extended his arms, as he started to slow his descent, pumping wind chakra to slow his body. It was kind of funny. All of this started with him infiltrating Orochimaru base all those years ago. I know it was ending with him infiltrating a base again. Hopefully, this one, well, he survived it. Meanwhile, at Pain's tower, Nagato was preparing himself, body and mind. He'll be stretching himself thin. All around the battlefield where paths were needed, there was only one ninja that would come to him on the battlefield to try and take him on. As he was thinking about that, a figure crawled its way up on the balcony. At the far left, shielded by the rain, from the awning that shield the balcony from above. Needless to say, Nagato was not what Naruto expected. He had to take off his mask to make sure he was seen okay. This was the man. The man was pale. His hair was looking red but washed out. Bones. There was barely any flesh, just pure bones, rods, sticking out of his back. This machine, was it a goddamn wheelchair? After everything Jiraiya told him about his students, his first students, this was nothing but a shame. But Naruto was also respectful to the man. In this state, he was able to bring the elemental nations to their knees. That was impressive. But now that Naruto saw the real pain, the 6 paths of pain were just smoke and mirrors. It was right up there with Danzo maintaining his status of disable to hide his Sharingan and his implants. It was right up there with Itachi hiding his double agents in the Akatsuki. This guy. So this was real pain. As he now understands the real meaning of looking underneath, the underneath. Who would have ever thought that greatest enemy right now of the world was a skeleton man? As Naruto stepped forward, Nagato slowly opened his eyes, as he did not look surprised. His first instinct was to bellow in amazement how he was standing there in front of him, but after killing Tobi, I shouldn't be surprised, should I? Out of all the people who ever tried to assassinate me, you have come the closest, and yet you haven't tried to kill me yet. Naruto turned off Sage mode the moment he came in, for stealth. You're not going to ask how I got in, said Naruto. It crossed my mind, said Nagato. The last time you intruded on my domain, I discovered you. before you even enter the water in my village. Well, I had to kind of invent something to get through your sense of rain. Do you know that when you go up in the clouds, it's really cold even though the sun is right there? Because I didn't, until a few days ago. Leave it to a student of Jiraiya Sensei to attempt a suicidal thing. They never disappoint in the end. Right back at you, said Naruto, as Nagato faced and twisted in anger. As Naruto smirked, if you wait in their paths to bust in here, keep on waiting. As Naruto held up one of the black rods at Pearson and threw it to the ground. I did not appreciate you taking Danzo's Jijibody for that. He disabled the paths? No, that wasn't possible. But he knew how the jutsu work apparently, otherwise, he would have just disabled the paths and destroyed the tower, but instead he came here because he knew how Nagato's jutsu work, and knowing that Nagato would be here without any protection. When he was using the bodies they had them stored, he turned off the connection between them and himself, so he wouldn't have any idea. And that way he could rest and conserve chakra. Damn it! Why? That random question confused Naruto. What did he mean? Nagato wasn't asking Naruto why he was there to kill him though. He wasn't asking anything at all. He was screaming to the cosmos and the heavens. Why would you give me all this power? Put me through the hell I went through to change this world for the better. Allow me to get this close and then take it away by the hands of one of them. The people that made the world so sick on the inside. Naruto did not flinch at sudden change in tone as Nagato spat his words angrily. Nagato come to term what he was a long time ago. He killed people. And you knew that Naruto was here to kill him. After all, he killed many people in battle. Most battle he went into, many people died. I would admit to everything you just said. Well, if you hadn't spent the last 20 years trying to end the world and everything we know. I killed, but Root never killed civilians. Even when Saki and Take, the targets, or never went after civilians. And I kill, but I never justify any kill by saying I'm some kind of god. No one that support this system is innocent, said Nagato. Really? How many civilians in the Hidden Stand did you kill when you crushed it? And I remember people saying that you just didn't kill Hanzo and people loyal to him. You kill Hanzo's families, down to the untrained kids, children, toddlers. They weren't even ninja. Who the hell are you to question my actions? You, who claimed your foundation the root, an organization more steep in conflicts than any the world could ever bring up. I just said I never justify anything I did, but you still are, said Naruto. If you would just come out and tell the truth, I think I could probably have some actual respect for you. As Naruto held his thumb and index finger apart for emphasis. To change everything, he said. You say that like I'm finished, said Nagato. The front of a chair opened up and shot a black rod straight towards Naruto. But Naruto slashed it with his blade. I just want to understand, said Naruto, like he wasn't even attacked a moment ago. What makes anyone think they're a god just because they got a strong pair of eyes? What the hell give you the right to think that you have the right to judge the world and show people in this world pain? How could you ever understand anything? You're just a blight on a planet that destroys. I am one that can take away life and restore it as well. This isn't even the peak of my power. Until you live the life I had, until you endure the struggle I have, survive day to day and see betrayal, you will never understand. Huh? Your parents were killed in front of you. So were mine, and we both got the people who did it back. But it took me longer. Your friend died in your arms. I just had to pull Pierce note of the man that believed in me, who built everything up for me. Even though he was a bit manipulated, he always did the right thing. And I was doing the right thing as well. And I had to just pull Pearsons out of him because of you, who you were using his corpse to control. What's your point? Said Nagato. My point is, worse things have happened to way more people. Welcome to life. But you cry like some little spoiled child. Suck it up, said Naruto. Ninjas don't make excuse to become psychopath. You choose at your goddamn self. I did suck it up, said Nagato. Those events enlightened me and formed who I am today. I became a god that would inflict pain on this world for them to understand. Naruto shook his head. Well, for one thing, you did have a hard life. You will never understand. Yeah, it's a good thing it's over, said Naruto. As Naruto's eyes changed, Sage Mode infused in his body. He shot off the ground like a rock, then drive the blade right through Nagato's chest. As Naruto placed one hand over his mouth, muffling any noise of pain he might have made, his physical body was too weak to make any chance of throwing Naruto off. My real problem isn't that you started all of this. You see, a long time ago, I understand that people do what they did because they just want to. As Naruto kept on twisting the blade as he spoke to Nagato. But what I hate about you is that these people who believe in you think that you're God. You drag them into all of this. The people that you were supposed to look out for and protect, you drag them into your beef for the world so they can die. You are nothing but a disgrace. Don't call yourself a leader. You don't deserve the right or the honor. As Naruto moved his hand from Nagato's mouth and placed on his head, Rasengan, he said. Just think about what would happen if you form a Rasengan inside of a balloon. The balloon would be torn to shreds, imagine. If you form it inside of a human head, he was unable to see what that jutsu did to Nagato's brain and skull. But then again, he didn't need those nightmares. His eyes ruptured as blood exploded out. His nose, his ears, and his mouth. Pulling his sword from Nagato's chest, Naruto swung it and flushed off the blood. He had to make sure that Nagato died and the Rinnegan was gone. No one need those to implant it into someone else, just restart this over again. As Naruto looked at his watch, you know, I have altitude sickness from dropping from so far. This is your best shot. If you want to take your shot, go ahead. It took a few seconds but the wall collapsed, revealing that Konan came in the room, doing the actual assassination. There wasn't any disguise in her appearance, the tears were streaming down her face. No, it won't change anything. As she walked past Naruto, she went over to Nagato and smoothed on his eyelids, closed his eyes. You could have stopped me. Why? When he turned Sage Mode on, he knew that she entered the room after he stabbed Nagato. She could have saved him, tried to attack him, but she just see things out to the end. Because I knew it had to be done, she said, her voice trembling as she tried to regain some kind of composure. Because he forgotten why we started this in the first place. All of this inflicting pain. He wasn't for peace any longer. All he talked about was making the world understand suffering. The people of this village just became spirit bodies for him to use. Then why didn't— because he was still Nagato. How could I, she said, as she dropped to her knees. So I'm all that left. Alright. Do it now, she said, as she closed her eyes. No. What do you mean, no, she said, as she opened back her eyes. I am not saying that I do this for you out of some pity or remorse for killing Nagato. I am doing this because if I kill you, who's gonna tell everyone out there to stop this before this entire village get destroyed? Konan looked out her village. They would keep fighting after she and Nagato were killed, and they would be slaughtered. It would be an absolute disaster because no one would be in charge. No hierarchy past Konan or Nagato. Any ninja that would have been qualified for village leader was killed in Hondo's regime. There was no one else that can do the job. If she didn't, the Hinrin will be really destroyed. I don't want this to go on anymore. And I don't wish to see those people out there die for nothing. So I'm going to ask you one more time. Are we done? There's nothing left. Without the Rinnegan, the Gedo statue cannot be used to contain the power of the Jinjulius. It can't even be accessed. It cannot be continued, she said. And even if I could, I'm tired of the blood. Just leave me, Nagato, and Yaiko's bodies. Naruto nodded. He had already sealed Danzo's body away. You're wrong about something though. You don't have nothing. You still have the people of the Hinrin and the village. For the sake of my village and every child and man and woman that call this place home, the Hinrin surrender to Konoha and the Grand Shinobi Alliance, she said, as she laid her head back on the ground. Cutting her hand, she let her blood drip on it. The old way of acknowledging surrender. I will send word to Hokage and the others. Call your people home, said Naruto. She wanted to ask how he can do such a thing before battle began, but he poofed away as she looked out at the city of the rain. Of course the rain would stop now at all times. Meanwhile, at Mount Miyaboku, Naruto appeared, as every Toad was there waiting for him, as Naruto and the Toad had all synchronized pieces of time, so they could be summoning back after the 15 minutes were over. No matter what, he was only getting 15 minutes to do it, whether he finished everything in 3, or died by the time they tried to bring him back. Well, Naruto-chan, said Fukazaku, seeing Naruto clothes covered in blood. Is it over? Yes, said Naruto. With a standard army, yes, I hope so. I really can't think of anything else that universe can throw at us anytime soon now. You killed Jiraiya first that pulled into, said Shima. Yeah, can you guys take me home, said Naruto. I think I got the bends. What the hell does that mean, the bends, said Yamakichi. Altitude. Altitude sickness. Bad, said Naruto. From 17,000 feet fall. As Naruto lied down. Can someone summon me back to Konoha? I need to settle down, he said. Ma, will you mind heading to Konoha and summon Naruto boy here on his decks? Hopefully after what she hears that he is victorious, she won't stomp him through it. Glorious, glorious victory, Naruto thought. It tastes like mountain grass. As he spit, yes, grass was definitely in his mouth. Time skip, with the war over, the hidden stone has been cut off from everything. While the village that we're in, the alliance, hashed things amongst themselves. Even a few of the minor villages that were involved got entry, and the hidden stone was furious about that, as they were in the last world wars and they wanted a piece of the pie. To be kept of such an important time in the world history, burn them up. They were the hidden stone. They were a great nation. That is why he reached out to the GSA. Yes, so they could talk. As Oniki just tried to scrap whatever can get now. We can always use this opportunity to tilt things back our ways with Kurosaki. He's just one guy, with a 3-man escort, even if he is stronger than before. By the time you return to Konoha, anything could have happened to him. Be quiet, girl, said Onki. This isn't as simple as him being the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. He's not the next in line for the Hokage seat. Apparently, the other 3 Kages accept this as an act for the future. He should get it in 5 years or 10. Said Akisaki as he started to count on the finger. That will make him how old when he gets it. Hey, Tsuchikage, how old are you? When are you gonna pick someone else? When I find the right candidate, how many times do I have to say it? Kurosaki crossed her arms as he rolled her eyes. As Onki did not believe that some wet ears apprentice knew what they were getting into when it came to the games of the world. After all, he was a man that was known for his politics. The door to the room opened as 2 stone guards were flanking the side. As a Konoha diplomat went forward, the blue eyes looked around as he gave a respectful bow to Tsuchikage as he entered. His own guards were outside and he was expecting Oniki to send Akisaki and Kurosaki away because it was a meeting to them to have. Naruto Uzumaki, Oniki said. At his greeting, Kurosaki and Akisaki left. As Naruto went in to sit down, well, Tsuchikage-sama, I have to say it here that you reach out to the GSA. It's a prize. The Mizukage and the Raikage. Straight to business, I see. Well, it didn't surprise the Kazekage or the Hokage. Well, honestly, Gaara isn't really big on this at all, so he didn't really care as long as the stone has nothing to do with the sand. At all. We got 4 villages in this thing. Give and take, checks and balances, you know? Well, you seem not to be the type that is beating around the bush in Onki. Yes, then let's cut straight to it, said Naruto. This is for the eyes of your Hokage, said Oniki, as he passed the scroll over to Naruto. As Naruto opened it and started to read. These are the terms and conditions that the hidden stone require if we are entering the Grand Shinobi Alliance is guaranteed. As Naruto raised the eyebrows as he looked over his scroll. Unconditional backing for restoration for the damage that the hidden ring did on them to their military. No. Territory from the western portion of Taki side. No. A request for a neutral side at the next Chunin exams. No. Promise of inclusion in rumor of minor villages tradement agreement of economics stability to the war. Hell no. As Naruto was listening to things off the scroll and saying no, Oniki had a smirk on his face as he started to fall. You didn't even send this to your Hokage to relate to the other village leaders. I'm not going to either, said Naruto. I think you're forgetting your position here. You don't have the ability to make decisions, said Oniki, as he was going to talk straight if his boy wanted to talk straight. You're basically a glorified messenger in this situation. You're just a diplomat. Your job is to scurry back to Nan and give this to her, and then maybe you can come back here with her answer. This go back and forth until a neutral agreement is made. Yeah, no, said Naruto, as he rolled the scroll back up and placed it over to the side. The reason Bachan trusts me enough to send me here so early in my apprenticeship is because there is no negotiation. If you get into the GSA, you aren't getting a damn thing. The reason she sent me is because I'm the only one that will tell you that straight to your face, instead of dragging it out with a back in front. So I'm here to tell you, you're not getting a single thing from the spoils of war. They missed the boat, they didn't want to join the alliance, and now they wanted to turn around when everything was over. Hell no. What the hell is this? What do you think? We were going to give you something because you now want to join, said Naruto. No, you get the same condition everyone else get, and they will be lucky to get that. The only reason why they are offering this to them is because they want to lock down everything now. At least there could be some alliance between everyone, instead of just 4 against 1. Because if it's 4 against 1 same way, the stone didn't stand a chance if they tried doing things stupid. Because when they first asked him to join at the start, the hidden stone, Onki said that had nothing to do with them, and he was not going to join. So now that he wants to join, he expect them to kiss his ass and give him whatever he want. Hell no, they weren't necessary now. And if the other villages want, they could wipe out the hidden stone from any agreement voice. As Naruto tossed the scroll back over the table to him, you don't have any leverage over any village in the GSA, even the small ones. You have no claims against the CNF, no claims against any of them, any of their village, because you didn't fight a second of it. Yes, you lost 1,000 shinobi and that was terrible, but you were the ones against the Hinarine. You think leaving us out is the best option then, Onki said, as he threw the scroll away like trash once it reached him. Are you really sure this is all the opinion of the GSA, even the minor village now involved? Yes. Your army is hurt from the attack on the Hinarine. You don't even have a Jinchuriki as a deterrent, so trust me, you really want to join now. And don't do what you want to do that will screw everything up. because it will be bad. Because the rest of the 4 villages actually like each other. We all fought alongside each other and saved each other's tails. You waited the whole thing out so you can see you win and swooped in and take all the spoils for yourself. The sand was actually hoping that the stone would turn around and attack them because they wanted to fight them, as Oniki had tried to sweep through the hidden rain to go towards the hidden sand to attack them as well. Yes, this man was quite stupid because now it was over and they were on the top because the sand came out on top as well. Seeing that, they were a part of the GSA and Oniki was now left out in the cold with nothing, no one, no support. If the stone did not play ball in 20 years, the Big 5 would become the Big 4 instead. None of the others didn't really have a problem with that either. How much influence do you think you have, Oniki said as his glare tried to burn a hole through Naruto. I don't mean your alliance, I mean you in particular. To say these things to me. Powerful or not, you're no Kage yet. You know that could have you crushed, don't you? Maybe, said Naruto with a smirk. He was in the middle of hitting a stone. Old man or not, this was still the Tishikage. But I do know every other Kage in the elemental nations. And right now, they like me more than they like you. Is this the kind of Hokage Tsunade is raising, said Oniki. No, it's the kind of Hokage that Tsunade is raising, that Jiraiya already raised, and that Danzo Shimura built up from scratch. So go ahead and think about that, Naruto says he got up. Tishikage-sama, we will all be waiting on your reply. Time skip, it's not that funny, said Naruto. I heard all of that shit in there, said Teiwaya. As she, him, and Shikamaru and Neji were exiting. Seriously? Soundproof walls, and a privacy genjutsu caster in the room. Who do you think I am, she said. All Neji could do was see through the walls, unlike Teiwaya who specialized in sound-based things. What exactly was said between you and Tishikage? Teiwaya opened her mouth to answer, but Naruto covered it. Need to know. Seriously. What am I gonna do with you, Naruto said. Because of his hand, she muffled something at first, but then it was finished by me. There was only 2 things you could have said right now. Tell me, was it PG, he asked. She shook her head no, as he just shrugged it off. She has become one of his constant bodyguards on this trip recently. Well, you know me, Uzumaki, she said. When it comes to you, I just can't control myself. As long as what he said don't get us ambushed back to the way to the village, I don't really care, said Shikamaru. That's not a good attitude to have, said Neji. How do you hope to excel any further? I really don't think I want to, he said, as Naruto had picked him for the diplomatic things of things for the future. So right now, why should he hassle? After all, in a come few years, everything's gonna be rather troublesome. Time skip, months has passed since everything happened, as the routine had fallen back into place. It was over now, finally it was over. Tsunade hearing the information that day when Naruto returned, and she summoned him as he was literally frothing from the mouth. That height that he felt from, it was really affecting him. But she heard everything, how he ended this war by himself with that stupid, idiotic idea that she would have never let him went on. But he pulled it off. She was shocked when she found out it was over so suddenly. She was happy that it was all over. And then she started to understand what made it happen. Then she exploded in rage that he took matters in his hands to do so. As when he got back to his senses, Tsunade would have probably thrown him in the clouds back. Well, if he already didn't have that sickness. As the army was even more shocked when they heard that Naruto with them all along was a clone. But to hear that the war ended without a single life lost, people celebrated and enjoyed. Everything was finally over with. Even the sand ninjas who came to reinforce the Konoha ninjas get swept up in all of it. Temaru was especially happy to find Naruto, as the both of them celebrate the end of the war. But with the war over now, they had to get the feelings out of the minor villages, so that this would never happen again. At the moment, you're welcome to stay as long as you like before reporting back to your village, Yujito, said Tsunade, as another meeting had been completed. I think I'll do that. By the way, Hokage-sama, do you happen to know where Naruto-kun is? I haven't seen him since he came to the last Kage Summit with you. It's been a while since we caught up. I missed him. I bet you do, said Tsunade as she rolled her eyes. I've been keeping him busy lately, so I've given him the day to tend to his own business. It's pretty serious, but you might be able to catch him this evening. He'll probably be exhausted though. Oh, that's never been a problem before, she said. As Tsunade wondered, if he picks her out of the girls that are in love with him, what kind of a baby that two Jinjul could make? Actually, how would that even work between 2 separate villages? She thought to herself. At the top of the Hokage's monument, after this war and everything, Jerry decided to hang up his headband for good. Well, unless he was really needed. Then you'd have to step in. It was just his nature to play the hero. But now he could focus on his passion, writing. At the moment, Jerry could not see another villain that would take place. So at least everything right now was peaceful and wonderful. Meanwhile, in the forest of death, as Naruto was sitting down, Maki was currently looking at his stomach. as checking the seals to make sure everything was okay, hoping that her Naruto senpai would come out of this with full control of the Biju power, as Sai was there as well. As well for Maki. I cannot guarantee your safety, Naruto senpai, so I don't know why you wanted to come here, said Sai. The reason being, him and Maki should be able enough to protect Naruto from these spiders, but Himako coming along, well, she had brought 4 of her golems just in case. But still, Sai remember almost dying from them when him and Naruto first came in here. And also they have dominated the era since Naruto has been gone. Yes, they produce a lot. Sai already killed 8 of them, and they got large. Seems like they have been growing, waiting for the opportunity to kill Naruto. But because of the Biju chakra, it seemed like they don't want to come around him so closely though. When it comes to seals, I will always be there for my master, no matter the danger, said Himako. As she had her hands on Naruto's stomach now. This is my duty, as the returner of the Uzumaki clan, and I will lovingly serve the head as is needed. What does as needed mean? Himako asked Maki. Exactly as its own, Maki. But I'm assuming that you mean physically. Well, you already know that I'm master's mistress. Why does that not bother you? Because I already told you why, Himako. If memory serve correctly, didn't Danzo want you to be the future wife of Naruto senpai? You even claimed to me that you're willing to marry him if the mission required it. But I think you just wanted to marry him. So if anyone should understand performing one duty, it should be you, right? Sai senpai, said Maki, as she was not flustered. I'm so sorry to inform you that your days of making me flustered on my relationship with Naruto senpai are behind us. After Tsunade finished sending on errands, she enjoyed checking in with him at night times, the both of them just alone, so he didn't bother her in the slightest in a way to make her flustered, because the intimacy between she and Naruto senpai was lovingly. And if she had to, she would go through the plan to marry Naruto senpai. But then she noticed Himako was looking at her with an unreadable expression on her face. The white-haired girl was no fighter, but what she could do with her sealing ability was quite imposing. She could give someone hell if she wished. If this is indeed the case, then the day that someone becomes Naruto-sama, legal wife, they will receive the same power over me that Naruto senpai does. Slightly less, but his orders would always override that of any others though. But still, nevertheless, said Himako. What does that mean exactly? Asked Maki. If you wed my master, I will also serve you as needed, no matter the task. And I do not think submitting to your sexual acts will also be a problem for that. Hearing that, Maki's face got red, as Sai simply smiled at her. He was getting way too good at the manipulating thing. Maybe Danzo picked the right person to take over Root after all. And he picked the right person to take over at Hokage as well as he looked over at Naruto. But he wondered though, what would Danzo-sama say about this current situation of the world? Meanwhile, inside his mindscape, Naruto was confused. This place looked rather familiar, but still, exactly was it? It was a village. It was fairly large and it was old. The structure were built by an old architect that he could not see with any modern village nowadays, as the place seemed to just resonate with him somehow. But he saw the insignia carved into the pavement. Uzu. He understood. As he looked around, as he remembered what happened, he opened the cell for him and Kurama to fight, and there was a bright flash of light. Then he appeared inside of here. That doesn't make sense. He couldn't have did this because he didn't even know what this place looked like before it was destroyed. If he was going to fight in Uzu for the final battle, he thought that it would have been inside the destroyed ruins where he find Himako. Well, sweetie, you don't, but I do. Wait, this was his mind. No one else should be in here except for Kurama. So who was? If this was Kurama messing with him, he would run him through right now. And sweetie, who the hell would have called him that? He was sure that Kurama would not. But he sounded like a woman said it anyway. As he turned to see a woman with red hair looking at him. He saw her picture one time in a photo. But this couldn't be Kushina, right? As he took 2 steps back. Kurama, you jerk! You called no illusions months ago. We both agreed. He was called no for Kurama as a warm hand rested on his face. I'm not an illusion, she said. Well, she thought. I'm kind of an illusion, a technical matter of speaking. I kinda imprinted my chakra inside the seal for when you take the plunge and decide to fight the Kyuubi. So your chakra imprint placed on my seal, he asked. Yep. That was supposed to manifest when I fight Kurama. Oh, my smart baby, she said. I still think you're illusion, said Naruto. Not too smart though, she said a smile. If you were too smart, you'd make your mother feel dumb. And you wouldn't let your mother feel dumb, now would you? Kushina found herself almost lifted off the ground when Naruto wrapped his arms around her in a hug. As she hugged him back, the last time she saw him, he was so small and defenseless. But look at him now. I thought you would have somewhat expect me at some point, said Kushina. Since Minato isn't here, I expect that he also run through the shot to the imprint. He didn't say anything about me. As he pulled back, well, it was kind of hectic the first time we met. The only thing I really remember is getting an explanation about the mask and the Akatsuki and bitch slapping dad. You bitch slap Minato? Kushina said in amazement. He told me to. He told you to bitch slap him? Well, not in so many words. Minato didn't really tell him to hit him. He just said that he wanted her to express some anger to make him feel better for sealing the Kyuubi inside of him. Kushina started to laugh. Oh, you backhanded him. You're definitely my son, she said. Why is the back of the hand though? Honestly, his face is too perfect for a grown ninja man to have. No wrinkles, no scars, no marks, nothing. He needed to be slapped with knuckles, leave a mark or something. He'd expect his father had some look on his face that made him look grim. To make people know that this was a man that can kill your entire army. But no. He also looked kind of, well, feminine. But not so much. Exactly. People didn't get it when I always say that he was girly, said Kushina. I love that man with all of my heart, but most women have to wear makeup to make their face look as unblemished as Minato's. I think I love you more than anything else in the world right now, said Naruto. You better, I'm your mother, she said. As the two of them were enjoying the last moments. Because she knew that she would go away soon and he knew that as well. So, you defeated the masked man, she said. Yeah. Did you find out who it was? Yeah, I saw under the mask, but I didn't recognize them. But I don't care who it was, he didn't deserve a name. He took you from me. Tears came to her eyes as she looked at the scar going down his face. As she held on to his face. If she and Minato was around, things would have been safer if they were there. So many things would have been different. He wouldn't have to live in the dark for so long just for Konoha. It's okay, Mom, said Naruto. A lot of things happen. And I've done a lot of bad things. I've hurt a lot of people. I used to be such a prick to people. I still am kind of, he said. Or maybe with you or Dad or both. I may have been a bitter person. I just want to know if you don't tell me anything else. I just want to hear if you're proud of me or not. No matter what, I just want to know what you think of who I am. There's nothing that you can say to make me not love you, Mom. You gave everything for me. And you should get to judge for yourself how the results of you and Dad's sacrifice turn out. You've done so much, he said. Pleasant and unpleasant things. Difficult things. Things that made me laugh. Things that made me cheer. Things that made me cry. You taught a lot of people life. Some of them I'm not really fond of, she said. And you changed them for the better. You hurt a lot of people too, she said. But no matter what, you're still my baby. And you've done more than whatever Minato or I could have hoped for you. I'm proud of you, and even if I was there, nothing about that would change. I would still be proud of you no matter what. As she removed his headband and kissed him right in the forehead. As she pulled back as he was crying as well. Oh man, Naruto said. He had to say it was a good thing he didn't know Edo Tensei. This is not what I need right now, Mom. I'm gonna get into a fight with a Biju. He said playfully as he wiped his eyes. She put on a smile despite her red puffy eyes. Well, don't lose your edge. I'm gonna be watching and I want to see you in a fight in person. Do you really think he can beat me on his best day? Hearing that, as Kurama falls from the sky and decimate buildings around him. I have waited a long time for this, Naruto. You have no idea how happy I am to fight this fight. As Naruto moved his mother behind him. Kurama, Kurama, Kurama. It would be easier for you to just give up and say that we're partners. Well, just don't go crying to my mother when I whip you in front of her. As he enters sage mode. And don't you cry to her when I wipe this filth with your face. Despite the tough thought, there was no malice between them at all. Kurama did not have access to sage mode because he'd be moving, but Naruto's body was still outside and can draw on the energy. As Naruto drew his blade, and his blade transformed into the armor around him. A gas came from behind him as Kushina touched the armor. I was gonna kind of help you cheat to beat him, she said. But I think I'd rather watch this now, she said. Don't worry about the thing and go all out, she said as he jumped back. I can't be hurt here. So how are you feeling about all of this? After everything that happened? And what may come, said Kurama. Tell me, I really want to know. Well, happy about everything that we've done. Scared and excited. About what might happen. Really hopeful that this might just be the start. I can't really tell you everything, not one time at the spot. But, I'm not done moving forward yet. Kurama smirked. Naruto Uzumaki. This is who you are. Well then, let's see if I can get to what's at the end of the horizon. Because I'm gonna be dragging you along with me for the ride, Naruto said. As the both of them leap forward. But guys, this is where the series come to a final end. Yes guys, and just want to say thank you all for following me on this long, very long journey. But don't be sad guys, because you already know that new what is are coming soon for you guys to enjoy. So just stay in tune and relax, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.